Good afternoon, gurus. Welcome to my show. Let's see. Okay. I'm sorry. Good afternoon, gurus. Welcome to my show. A little technical problem there. Forgive me on that. Um, I was trying to start out with the promo and something happened with the video, so not sure. I closed one of the videos. So anyway, welcome to my show, gurus. Sports Guru Vegas live. Coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada, the greatest city in the world. Yesterday, I didn't do a show. We didn't have enough games. I put two on TikTok. We split in college, Marquette, and then we lost with a small conference on the road. I buy a basket again. But anyway, we have a couple round robins today I want to share with you. We're getting again deeper into the season, college basketball. We have four college and two NBA. And here's when things start going. Basically, this week it'll just get busier and busier, and that's good. We need that for volume. The more volume, the better handicappers. Good handicappers can find better plays, more consistent winners, and bring in a profit that way. That's going to get busy, gurus, and we have to be prepared for that, and we are. We're all set for that. So, welcome to my show, newcomers, new followers on Twitter, X, and TikTok. Welcome. We have a couple round robins. In fact, I think I'll just get into the games today because we didn't have anything going yesterday, and I want to get started on that with you guys. So let's do that first. The first game I'm bringing up, the first round robin. For you new viewers, we bet mainly round robins. Yesterday's a good example. 1-1, you lose. If you have three, you have a chance to at least go 2-1. You get your money back or possibly make money if the juice is low enough. And we're always looking for small juice with the highest probability of winning. That's how you make the most profit out of each of your bets. So we're always trying to squeeze that number down and find the best probability of either covering the spread or having to win outright or laying the points, whatever that may be. That the object of this is simple, gurus. Shrink that number down as low as possible. Win as many spreads or bets as you can, sides. That's all this is about. And it's all about matchups. So we always are trying to find the best matchup, who's can win against who lost, back and forth. And it's a battle. It is. You've seen that, but we're here for up for the challenge, and we need to start competing and we need to start winning now. So, with that being said, we're going to go into the NBA. We're going to take Phoenix on the road. They're at Brooklyn. We did have Brooklyn last time on the show. That was on Monday, and we won with them at home. They were a dog against Utah and a small plus, and they went out pretty handily. And the Nets are a team that are, they're a dangerous team in a way. They're even at home this year. So they can handle their business at home. But right now, the Suns, they beat the Suns earlier in the year. And we feel with Beal, right, and Booker and Durant in the lineup, this is a top three all-stars on one team in their starting five, and that's an advantage. They don't have that, and that's their best players. I think is Bridges, and he's a good player, but he's not at the caliber of any of these players. He actually used to be a backup on the Suns, and he was a very good bench player. I think he made sixth man of the year, and they got rid of him for Durant. So the Suns are moving in a positive direction. It took time for Beal to integrate with this team and Durant. Durant came half of the season last year. So, he was new to the team too. So they're just really learning how to play together. And they're starting to win games. They're all very good players, and that's not unusual. Booker, I think, had 60 some points last week. A series of NBA players scored high points. Embiid had 70. Doncic had 70 plus, and they were doing that in memory of Kobe. And I thought that was pretty amazing, right? That these guys that Kobe meant that much that they could go out and play an exceptional game like that. Each of them that they deserve a tremendous amount And that's, Kobe was one of my favorite players, gurus, when he was playing. I was fortunate. I've been betting on Kobe his whole career. I never missed a game, anything with him. So I got to grow with him. I got to watch him, when he was with the Lakers and they dominated with Shaq. I got to see all these things, happen under my tenure of doing this. It stretches 30 years, and I've been working helping people for 25 years. So it's a long time I've been involved with this. So I've seen a lot of players' careers. That's an honor and a privilege, and I'm grateful I had that, gurus. I am. But to go back to the games, we have Richmond. So then we're going to go into college basketball, and Richmond is they're on the road today. They're at Fordham. And Richmond's a team we won with the last time I bet them. And I like to find, if I get another opportunity to bet on a team that I won with, especially that means the odds makers could be a little off on this game. Richmond pretty much owns this team. We need to continue that in this game. And that's why we're betting. It's a reasonably low number. It's like a dollar. I believe it's $1.35 on the road. You can find out on your apps, maybe $1.45, but it's reasonable. They need, this is a time of the year. Some of these teams, as you guys know from betting college basketball, if you're new to it, I'll explain it to you this way. So there's teams that are in the Power Five conference. Those teams have more leeway, if you will, so they can afford to lose a little more because of their strength of schedule. Teams like Richmond, they're in a smaller conference, not a small one. They're in a smaller conference, so they have to win more games. Now, Richmond's probably not going to just get there on their merit. Okay, they're going to have to win the tournament, at least play in the championship in their own conference tournament. Right now, we don't care about that. We care about the matchup. If they keep winning games, they'll get a higher seed in the conference tournament, and that might give them a chance. The A10's a tough conference. I think Dayton's the best team in that conference. But Richmond's always a reasonable team. They have a reasonable program. They're used to winning. They know how to win. Again, we had them last time we won with them, Gurus, so I feel comfortable about coming back with them again. And then Santa Clara is on the road. Now they're over at St. Mary's. They lost to St. Mary's earlier this year, but they're getting a big number, 14 and a half at home. On Saturday, we took LMU against St. Mary's, and they covered. So we're hoping this position. This is more points. St. Mary's usually beats Santa Clara. They did this year. They beat them in Santa Clara. Santa Clara is a good team this year, and so is St. Mary's. It's a lot of points, so we're hoping maybe that they've been getting beat by this team. Eventually, your game plan is this season. They're having a winning season. They beat Gonzaga at home, Santa Clara. So they're thinking about this was the year we can compete. And I believe they played a very close game last game against St. Mary's. So we're hoping this 14 and a half is enough. It went down to 14. I bought it up off that. You don't really need the money lines in these spots because you're already betting it with Phoenix and Richmond, although you can lay. I'm a guide here on this show. This is what I tell you what I'm doing. On the road, I like to just lay the money line generally, not the points as much. You have to win twice on the road, but you can. And again, can Santa Clara win tonight? Well, they haven't beaten this team in a few years, but they certainly can cover, and that's what I'm playing them to do. So we have the Suns who are playing well at Brooklyn. Now, Durant's old team, right? He was there for a couple of years. In fact, last year they traded him. So maybe he'll have something extra to bring today. It's hard to say. He did play there. He played in the playoffs there with Irving, and they lost in the first round. I believe it was against Boston 2 years ago. Yeah. So let's see what he does back in Brooklyn. He might want to have put on a good performance for them. And again, Booker's playing at a very high level, and Beal's integrating with this team well. And I think they have a new coach. He's from the Lakers, so he's reasonable to coach. I think they're the right spot in this game. They need to keep rolling. The Western Conference is a more competitive conference. Even though the Suns are winning, they need to keep winning. You want to get the best seed possible for the playoffs. It's a little early right now, Gurus. We're not even at the All-Star break. Again, this is a matchup situation where they lost earlier to this team, and I know Durant wants to beat this team this time. I do know. He played there. He doesn't want to get swept by Brooklyn this year. And Richmond, again, we had them last time, so we believe the value will be reasonable for them this time, and they're playing a weaker team. Fordham has been okay this year, reasonably competitive. We lost when we bet and they got killed. So I think that the dominance will continue in this position. And Santa Clara, hopefully they cover that number. They've been playing years against this team, and perhaps they can cover the 14 in uh, on the road. So that's one, and then we're going to go to the next one. And Gurus, one of the things there's a lot of news, right? There's always a lot of news, right? Embiid hurt his knee. You can go on ESPN and find out a lot of that. And again, that's what they're good for. There's nothing wrong with starting your day off, finding out what's going on. I don't really cover injuries on this show. They do. I go more into just the games, the matchups themselves. For me, I watch these programs briefly in the morning. I've had more time. I figured out my schedule better. I do have time. I usually start with Undisputed early, and not because of any reason except Keyshawn. When he was in high school at Dorsey, I sold him a hat. That's mainly the reason I watch it. But I think Sherman. I like Sherman out of all of them. He's the only one that took the Chiefs last week, and keep in mind Sherman's a champion. He's got a great DB. Just a great player, very intelligent person. He went to Stanford, so you have to have high GPA to get into Stanford, even to play football. So he's a pretty solid guy, and I follow him on X because I like what he has to offer. Skip Bayless is pretty bad as far as handicapping. He's the host of the show, but Keyshawn, again, I have some love for him when he was in high school. So and I lived in LA at that time too. But these shows, getting back to that, Gurus, is yes, follow them for highlights, injuries. They do talk about that. That can benefit. Okay, they sent me that. Okay, nothing yet from Mark, and I'm sure So, Gurus, feel free to chat if you want. Go ahead and send any questions you like for the show. I'd be happy to answer them for you if I can. Mainly, we talk about handicapping on the show, but it's open to anything. To follow up here on this second round robin, it's Georgia at home. Now, we've had success with Georgia this year, betting them. They've been undervalued, in my opinion. We believe that's happening again. This is a good number at home, in college, in this situation. We think they'll be ready for this game. Bama is at the top of their conference right now, but they struggle on the road. And Georgia's, they're an up and coming team, if you will. So they're going to play hard in this game. And again, we're getting a two baskets, and that's a reasonable amount at home. We do have a history of winning, with Georgia at home. And then we're going to go into the next game is Belmont. Belmont's at home, and they're playing Indiana State. Indiana State's a top team in that conference. That's the Missouri Valley Conference. But Belmont is getting a reasonable amount of points at home, and they are good at home. They did play earlier. We like the 8.5. And so in this spot, the Missouri Valley Conference generally battle one another. It's always kind of been that way. There are some bottom teams, feeder teams at the bottom, but most of it's like in the middle. And every game's very competitive. Matter of fact, we had Bradley on Saturday, and we were getting 7.5, and they lost in overtime by 8 or by 9. So we didn't even get that, which is really strange, Gurus, because when a game's that close, you usually will cover that spread. That we look for bigger numbers like that. That's a significant, 7, 8 on the road with two good teams. That's a lot of points, even in college. So it can happen. We've lost two games in overtime that we were winning the whole game. So figure that one out. But it happens, and it always comes back our way too. That's the way it works in this business. And this one's interesting. Portland's at home. So Portland's at home. That means Lillard's coming to Portland today. And, they'll be ready for that. That's exciting. And I'm sure it's exciting for him too, right? He's played his whole career in Portland. He's been an all-star many times. They've never done much in the postseason. He's made it a few times, but they never really put a team around Lillard. Now he has a team. Well, the problem is they changed coaches. And for right now, Rivers, I think he lost his last game. It was at Denver, which isn't an easy game to win, but you got a top team here. Milwaukee and Boston are picked to be in the finals, basically in the Eastern Conference. I have them there, and if Embiid's injured, there's a high chance that's going to happen for sure. And I don't see anybody below that team, those two teams that can compete. Indiana's making a little noise. Miami can't win a game for the life of them. We had them the other day on Monday, and they got beat up again. They're struggling a lot. And, Rozier, I was watching that game, Gurus, and they picked up Rozier from the Hornets, and he looks like dog shit, basically, on this team. They're not playing well with him. And I told you the other day on the show that, as we know, Gurus, sometimes when teams make these wholesale changes, grab a better player. He's not an all-star, Rozier, but he's a better player. And sometimes they don't fit very well. And we see that happening in Miami. They can't win a game basically right now. They're struggling a lot, and they're coming off a great season, right? They went to the championship game last year. They beat Boston on the road in the playoffs. So, that's what's going on with them right now. So, but back to the Portland game, we're getting 11 at home. The number went up a half. They just lost Milwaukee, so they're going to need to win this game. They're focused on winning this game, but Portland's got something to say about that. I put optional money line on here because these are all at home. These teams, they all could win. So I threw, you can throw 10 to 20% on these games at home. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. And in fact, I checked it on my odds. It pays about almost 20 to 1 if they all win. And even if we win 2 out of 3, it's still going to pay on the accelerate that ticket. So that's why we came back with these two games here. The Super Bowl numbers are out. I'll go back into the college. The basketball here. Let me see. I think we got to probably mark on Georgia and Belmont have been solid at home. Let me put this up for you guys. This is what Mark said. Georgia and Belmont have been solid home teams. They should both. Yeah, I agree, Mark, and that's what we talked about. That, and I just shared that with the viewers. Again, I agree. These are reasonable points. And Mark brought that up. We call this good point value. And Gurus, I'm going to stress this because as the season goes, the matchups. So most of these teams will face each other at least once. And as the season goes, almost every game, about 3/4 of the games, these teams will have already played one another. And we can bet, we like to handicap off that because we can go either way with it. There are games that they haven't played that if we like the matchup, we'll bet it anyway. But having that matchup, right, using that, we like that. We're used to that. That's what Mark and I have been doing since we've been business partners together and handicapping partners. So we know how to value it. So when we see it, we can value the game pretty much immediately. If it has value for us, value means does it have an advantage if you bet it? And we believe that these 2 round robins we sent you will have those enough advantages. And again, Gurus, we're getting into a time of the season we're going to have more and more volume each day in these games. I was surprised yesterday. I didn't. I really was. I looked for a third game, and I didn't see one enough of one to release. And so, that's okay though. It is what it is. But I wanted to at least put a video up on the other platforms. And I know I would have been nice to win both. We hit Marquette early. We just couldn't get to that Southeast Missouri game. Um, I'll go back to the games here. Okay, so again, we're mixing gurus now. The NBA with college. NBA has been dependable for us this year. It really has. We had a nice run for a couple weeks there, and it's been chopping since then. And part of that is on me, gurus. I have to get a little. I had to get Mark and I had to figure some things out, but we took care of that, and we're going to get it done, and you're going to see in the results now. We already went 2-1 Monday, but we got to keep this going now, gurus. We got to keep moving forward, and we will. I'm looking forward. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work. The more games, the more work for me. I'm looking at all these matchups, but that's better because then we have more bets and we can make more money. We need to do that. That's why I started this show. I started this show for the new viewers because when you go on Disney SPN and you go on Fox, there's nothing wrong with these shows at all. Okay. I understand what it's like to have to do a show, but these people have a lot of help, right? They have producers, they have statisticians, people in the back room, feeding them information, topics they already can come up with. Obviously, they have celebrities, sports celebrities on. Certainly, that's going to make a difference. That takes up time in their show, and that's good. They should have that. Congratulations to anybody who's successful. I have nothing against that. But I want to remind you, they know nothing about handicapping. They know zero about it. I know because I can tell by the way they interact about the games. They just don't know. And if you look at it, most of the of the people on these shows took the Ravens. Most of them had the Ravens and the Niners. And I knew that going into the game last week. And I don't really like that. I'm usually not on their side, and I'm usually more comfortable with that. However, I looked at the same thing they did, and they basically had the same um, uh, indicators that I had. It's just that we can't play this game. That's why there's inherent risk. We talk about that, gurus. We can only, bet on the probabilities. And, it looks like the Chiefs will be the right side in the Super Bowl. I don't see, I don't like to change and I bet against the Chiefs 2 weeks in a row. But, I'm here to win. So, the Chiefs are they certainly have the better quarterback. That's easy. That's in every case. When you go to the next level, they have a very good defense, the Chiefs. I think their problem is going to come in their receiving in this game, and I thought it was going to be a bigger issue in the Raven game. I really did. I expected the windows for the receivers and the defenders for the Chiefs to be smaller, and they were. Right? They don't have they have a better defense than Buffalo, but their receivers didn't drop one pass again. And not only did they not drop a pass, they made very good catches, unlike the Ravens and the Lions in the second half. And to win at this level, you have to play a complete game. And I think when you watch the Chiefs, right, they're like the Niners of old, right, with Montana. And they used to always dominate in the postseason, 4-0 in the Super Bowl. And you just knew when you played them, you probably weren't going to win. I wasn't betting at that time when Montana was. I was just a teen. I think I was in my late teens. I wasn't betting. I didn't start betting till my about my early 30s, 30, 31. And I don't mind that. I think that might be better. I was older, more mature, so I think that helped. Um, but anyway, we're seeing an exceptional teams, the Chiefs. And why don't we know that because when you look at their receivers who did not play very well this year, we saw that with Mahomes, and that wasn't even a factor. But you got to give Mahomes credit for that. He has respect. His players know that if he throws the ball, you catch it. That's the way it works. and he has that confidence, and he makes. And if you remember, Gurus, before that Raven game, I said to you, Brady and Mahomes make everybody much better. They just do. If they put any player on another team, take Mahomes off, they would be average, except for Kelsey. He would be very good no matter what team he's on. Period. He's a great player. Very strong, fast, athletic. He used to be a quarterback. They're tremendous together. They broke a record in the postseason. So I'm leaning early the Chiefs in this game. I don't see any reason I'll get off that. Probably won't. I was surprised. I had the Chiefs opening up a small minus, anywhere between 1 and 3. And that's the opposite. So they're predicting like I did. So the odds makers, Gurus, they put up numbers that were basically indicating to the betting public that the Chiefs weren't going to go to the Super Bowl. They made them a small plus at Buffalo, right? 2.5. They made them that. That tells you they favored, obviously, Buffalo a little bit. And then they made the Ravens 3.5, and they shot the lineup up another point, which bothered me, right? But that happened. So there's a couple of strategies you can use, and I thought about using them. One is to take the money line, the home, which we did, and then you take the road and the points. I've done that before. That would have won. Right? They both covered the number, both the Chiefs who won and the Lions who lost. They almost didn't cover the Lions. They actually had to score on their last play in the red zone, or they wouldn't have covered. And that means you lose twice in that scenario. So you got to be careful. That's why it's dangerous to do that. And I really thought the Ravens were going to win. I was going to hedge Detroit in the Niner game and take the 7.5, and then I would have won the money line ticket and I'd have won the hedge. That's called a double winner in our business. So that didn't happen. But we're into basketball. We still have the Super Bowl in my city. That's less than 2 weeks away. I'm excited about that, Gurus. I'll try and send some videos out on TikTok and X regarding that. Maybe hopefully the show next year will be big enough. We can do some remote shows. We'll see how that works, day at a time. But here we go, Gurus. This is a Santa Clara. Again, let's see if they can cover that 14.5. Richmond on the money line at Fordham. They beat up on this team. We need to continue that. And then the Suns on the money line at Brooklyn, and that's Durant's. He's coming back to Brooklyn for this game. I don't think they want to get swept by this team, and they are playing at a high level with all their players. So I would look for that to be a good bet. The last one, Gurus, is again, we've already talked about these. I'm bringing it up if you're new coming into the show. Georgia at home, we like that because of the value of the game. Belmont, I didn't put the plus there, but they are plus 8.5. And I apologize, Gurus. They are plus 8.5 in this game. And the Trailblazers are at home, actually against Lillard and Milwaukee. Now, this is his first visit to Portland. So that's going to be very interesting. Now, they lost. They're going to want to win this game. I know Lillard's going to want to win this game. So this could be a tough game. I did throw a little money line round robin on this. It's optional because they're all at home. I always do that for home teams especially. And that's another advantage, Gurus. You can do that. It pays almost 20 to 1. And you can put a lot less on that, as I said. So let's see. Mark has another something he said. Right, Mark. I like that. So Mark says we need to keep working hard. That's coming from a 63-year-old man, right? Who's semi-retired. But yeah, I agree, Mark. We have to, not as hard as smart. It's funny, Gurus. You can do a lot of work, but if you miss something in the organizational part of it, it can throw off your research you did, and it kind of ruin all the work you did. It's possible. A lot of information, a lot of matchups, a lot of deep thought, a lot of research. I write out these games. It takes a couple hours average a day out, and it's just going to get more. But we're more organized now. We're going to take care of that for you guys. So, and today we believe we have the right side. And thanks, Mark, for reminding everybody that this isn't hard work, Gurus. And I know most people think, well, how hard it is to research games. Believe me, when you've been doing it for 25 years, it's it's a chore at times. So, but we do love it. Mark and I, we talk about a lot of things while we're looking at the games. We talk about the past and certain situations that we remember that stand out to us. I think this morning that Brady was on McAfee show, and I watched it. It was a very good interview that he gave him. And I just love watching Brady because Brady wasn't a great player. He was a good player that made himself a great player because he was willing to do what most people weren't willing to do, work on the off season harder, work with his receivers harder on the off season, stay in tip top shape with his strength coach. Now he opened up that business. I think that was 10 years ago, TB12, and they have a lot of great supplements. So he's helped a lot of other athletes. So even if you're not on his team, he's helped you become a better player, and he's going to be doing broadcasting next year for Fox as a play-by-play analyst. That's going to be, he's getting 35 million a year for the next 10 years to do that. But he's going to be good at it, he is. He may not be, right? Because he's such a competitor, and he's so intelligent when it comes to football. We're going to have the luxury of listening to him and learning from Tom Brady. And that to me is a blessing. I love listening to Brady. He comes from the Bay Area. Mark lives he grew up about a mile from Brady, where he grew up his house. So he's a lot older than Brady, but still he grew up near the family. They still live there. But that's neat. So we're looking forward to that, Gurus. So I want to just remind you, oops, sorry about that, Mark, that we do have a couple round robins. I will be posting these on the Twitter, X, and the TikTok platforms today, not too long after this show. You'll be able to catch those. And that's another way to, if you can't watch the show, which I hope you can, you can get these picks on the TikTok and on the X, and I put them all out pretty much this way. I don't talk about money lines. I mainly just put the spreads out. I figure the viewers on the show know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you want that information, they can watch the show. I've promoted it on those platforms, and we'll continue. Gurus, it hasn't changed. I'm praying, this show, we're working towards the show being successful. We know that takes time. I'm here for the long haul with you guys because I want to see this thing through from season to season. The best way to have success is to start with a season and end with a season. We've done that in basketball. So we have about 6 weeks left of a hardcore games that are going to be coming up, 5 strong to 6, and we need to be successful in that block period of time, Gurus. We're ready for it. I'm just letting you know that we're ready for it because we've been through this for 25 years helping people. So we're ready for this onslaught of games, and we're ready to win with this. We know how to handle all this volume. So that's your advantage of staying with Guru. Yes, it's been a little bumpy last week. We're off to a 2-1 start on the show this week. Today we have 2 round robins, so we got to keep going 2-1, 3-0, 2-1, 3-0. That's that's competing and making money, both. So however it comes, we need to start making a profit in the black, and I'm anticipating that. I believe these games will help you get there, Gurus. That's why we're releasing them to you today. So again, come on for you new viewers, just to let you know, I do send these videos out as you know, you've probably seen them. That's why you're with me now. So you can catch the information. I do talk about the games more on the show, obviously, about specifics of the games. These are, for example, on Monday, we bet those back-to-backs. We went 2-1, and that's a winner. A round robin, it made a little bit of money. And one more thing, Gurus, you can bet these games straight. I want you to understand I'm your guide. I bet the round robin, but you can bet straight. You'd be doing better if you did bet straight. than the round robin. I've been saying that, but I like the round robin for the ease of betting it. Also, I like the multiplier when it wins. When we get hot, it kicks up real quick. So that part of it I like, and it's easy for me to release. It's fun. It's more exciting to have 3 games. You have to win. You have two, and you're excited about the third. I just think it adds a nice element. It's not a parlay because a parlay is 2-1. You lose. That's not fun. There's not the challenge. You make more when you win, but it's harder to do that. For me, I've never seen an advantage in that. However, you can do it if you want. What I would suggest is if you're more into the profit, bet them straight. And I do this at times, Cruz. Bet the side straight, back it up with the round robin. So that's another option for you guys. But mainly, we're here to talk about handicapping and also to promote the games that Mark and I are betting ourselves. They're not doing that on these programs. They don't even bet. Stephen A will tell you he doesn't bet, and he's very proud of that. Now, for me, I think it's a responsibility. If you're not going to bet, then you shouldn't give out any sides because who cares what you think? Every game I release, I'm betting. I'm playing it the same way I tell you on the show, Gurus. And that's my pledge to you. I wouldn't do it any other way. All right. So I have to be, if I'm your guide, I have to guide by doing, and you follow my lead and we'll be successful together. So, and especially if you're new to sports wagering, you want to deal with someone like me who's been doing it for a very long time, who understands the ups and downs, the cycles of a year, the different times of the year we're dealing with. I talked about that on the last show on Monday. There's 3 different seasons within a season, and you have to understand how to handicap that. They're all different. And I'll help you with that, gurus. I'm here to help expand your understanding of betting sports and also here to win to help us make money. But the key is to have fun with it, be responsible, right? This is inherent risk. We've seen that. And we need to be responsible so we can be here for the long haul. That's how I've lasted as long as I have. And people only paid me when that's why I got that nickname Sports Guru. In Vegas, we added because I only got paid when I won for people. I carried people for seasons. I had to win or they wouldn't pay me. So that was, that not many people would ever do that. If you looked at some of the services out there, they'll try and get money out of you before they give out. Or if they give out one winner, they'll act like they're the best in the world, and then they'll get murdered after that. I didn't do that. I did it the same way I'm doing here. I will say it was easier back then to win. There's more sophisticated software now. There's AIs involved at some level with this, right? There's algorithms. There's a lot of challenges that we didn't have earlier that we have more of now. It's more vast. There's a lot more people doing it. There's a lot of people with their phones that are betting on the phones. That's why I jumped in when I did now. Plus the Super Bowl. I want to help those people. I'm only, one click away on your phone to find out what Guru's got. And I want that to be something people can depend on. What has Guru got today? Boom, let's check. Okay, he likes it too. Let's hit it. That's what I want to happen. I want to build a relationship with my viewers. I want them to feel comfortable and confident in me, right? That we can get this job done for you guys. And it starts a day at a time. And I've been here this is our 9th week, I believe. And, so we're getting some experience. We know how to get the show going. What we have to do is this is where it's all about, Gurus. It's all about winning and competing. We have to compete to win. So we're going to get there. Let's get that done today. So I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. We'll definitely be doing a show tomorrow. It's Thursday, which is the busiest weekday for college basketball, Gurus. Look for that. And it'll be at noon tomorrow. We shoot live Monday through Friday almost every day, unless I don't have a round robin. Then I'll put something on TikTok or we'll just wait. That happened yesterday. But anytime we have plays to share, you should have an indicator on your subscription that we are shooting and live, and you can come on and check the games. And again, you can also go on the other platforms for the picks as well. I will be posting these at that time. So thank you guys for coming today and viewing us today. Again, it'll be a busy day tomorrow for Mark and I. We want to get that stuff done, get the work done, get it out to you. And let's put a couple good days of winning together here, gurus, so we can go into the weekend with some momentum and kick some ass this weekend as well. And then we can start talking about the Super Bowl next week. I am leaning the Chiefs at this point. It'll be an interesting game. We'll wait. We have time for that game, but it is fun to start talking about it right now. So come back tomorrow, gurus, with me, and we'll have the big college. Hopefully, a lot of good bets tomorrow in the college basketball. I'm looking forward to that. And be here at noon. That's when we start the show. Thank you. I love you. God bless you.